I'm giving you guys all the golden nuggets. Meredith, put it down. You do not need to feel guilty. Start the discovery of you. Guess what? It makes me really, really sad to say it out loud. I never knew that. If you love a Gemini, understand this. It is another Gemini video, and you are not going to want to miss this one. We're going to go into the deeper truth about Gemini. And if you're involved with a Gemini, if you know a Gemini, if your child is a Gemini, you definitely want to watch this video. If your partner is a Gemini, or if you're a Gemini, this video is going to be really, really good for you. If you want to understand and know the Gemini person in your life more deeply, I'm going to tell you 10 things that Gemini needs from you inside their relationship to deepen it. And these are probably 10 things that they will never even let you in on. Gemini is probably not going to tell you that they need any of these things, but they do. And I have very, very important Gemini people in my life. I love them and I adore them. And Geminis are interesting because they need things that are very different than the general population, if you will. We're having a little bit of a rough day here. Busy, 20,000 irons in the fire. What's new? We had no time, but I still wanted to deliver this video to you. And I hope, by the way, that you're watching the entire series that I'm doing right now, because I feel like we misunderstand the energies that live inside of our own chart. Now, listen, you've got Gemini, you've got all 12 signs in your chart. And if you want to understand the Gemini part of your chart, what part is that? Where is Gemini in your chart? What house? And even if you don't have any planets, that house, the theme of that house or houses, which Gemini sits in, is you're going to be able to relate this video to those themes. This is relevant for everyone. Let's dive in. When people think about Gemini, they often think they've got them figured out. They're social, they're funny, they're curious, they're scattered, they get bored easily. But what if I told you underneath all of that movement, all of that big brainiac wit, all that humor and all that adaptability, that this is a soul that actually pretends to have no needs at all, when in truth, in reality, they have tremendous needs. Let's go beyond the stereotype. Let's talk about 10 things that Gemini really needs in order to feel deeply connected or truly loved or desired or emotionally fulfilled or just genuinely happy in life and in their relationship. Some of these really might surprise you because Geminis just don't ask for what they need. They don't want to be a burden. They don't want to be a problem. And they certainly don't want to get into the mucky muck of what's going to happen to them after they tell you all their feelings. No, that's like walking straight into a beehive with honey and getting stuck in there. And there is no way they are going to get stuck in the beehive. Nope. Nope. So Geminis are proficient at adapting to everyone else and everyone else's needs, that they lose touch with their own emotional basis or their own emotional requirements for life. So the first thing, Gemini gravitates towards situations, people, and experiences. So create an experience for your Gemini that will surprise them. They love surprises. And it's not about entertainment. And it's not about consistently or constantly being excited. No, it's deeper than that. Gemini is ruled by Mercury, which is the planet of discovery and learning and observation and curiosity. And this is probably the biggest thing you need to know. Gemini does not fall in love with who you are. And again, listen to the totality of this video because this is for platonic relationships too, not just love relationships. But this is kind of my point with Gemini. Gemini does not just fall in love with the static version of who you are. No, 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 no. They actually fall in love with discovering who you are. It's also how they experience adventure. Gemini does not fall in love with just what is happening right now. They fall in love with the entire experience of what is about to happen, what is unfolding, what is happening, and then what happened. The whole process. Geminis are process oriented, not destination driven. And when Gemini believes that they've reached the end of that like discovery process, that's when the adventure, the moment, or the person or the situation starts to become stale and stagnant. Yes. So that's why they like perpetual movement. And that's why they are perpetually moving. And that is why they like people who evolve. So if you are a parent to a Gemini child, you must always be evolving so they don't outgrow you, so they don't get bored with you, so you don't become just a stagnant parent. Geminis want situations, partnerships, and people in their life that keep growing, that keep evolving, that keep adventuring, that keep the curiosity alive. They want people, places, things, events that show the growth of something, which is also another word for the process, the discovery. They like people who change, people who evolve, someone who reveals layers over time. Yes, even if you're a parent, they like the layers. They like discovery, like treasure hunts and escape rooms. And, this leads to this, and this leads to this, and this leads to these 3 doors, and then these 6 doors, and then these options, and then tunnels. I will tell you, one of the reasons why I really appreciate Gemini energy so much is they're not looking for perfection. They are looking for mystery. They are looking for that which makes them curious. They are looking for an unfolding. They are looking for the next chapter, the next doorway. And their relationships and their connection to their passions stay alive while they're getting to know you, while they're discovering new information. Okay, number 2, Geminis need the freedom to reinvent themselves, their lives, their environment, their situations, their careers. And one of the greatest misconceptions about Geminis is that they are flighty, flaky, and inconsistent. And while this can be true, oftentimes it's not that they're inconsistent. It's that they have an attachment to change. Yes, they are adaptable and they need to express what lives inside of them. And what lives inside of them is constantly changing. And I'll tell you, Gemini is one of the zodiac signs most willing to shed old identities. So listen to this. The version of them you met 5 years ago, or maybe even 5 months ago, is not the version sitting in front of you today. I have to tell you a funny story. So my daughter and I have Venus oppositions, and she she has Venus in Gemini, and I will tell you, thank God she has a Venus in Gemini because it has saved her Cancerian life. And I always tell her, thank God, thank God, thank God for your Venus in Gemini. One, it makes you phenomenal, not just good, not just great, but phenom at karaoke. She knows every lyric to every song that ever existed, including old music, like old music from the 50s all the way to today's current hits. She knows everything. She knows my generation of music. She knows every lyric to Bon Jovi. And when she was 7 years old for my birthday, she cranked up Bon Jovi and was sweeping the kitchen floors for me, singing the song as loud as she can, Shot Through the Heart. It was so, You Give Love a Bad Name. It was so fun and so funny. But let me tell you, my daughter, I think it was every single month. Here she is, a little tiny thing at this time in her life. She started doing this when she was like 8 years old, 9 years old, all the way through high school. She would move the furniture around in her bedroom, and it drove me friggin' nuts upstairs. And she would move the bed by herself and move her little keyboard piano by herself and move this heavy dresser by herself and move her desk by herself. And she would not ask because she didn't want to hear no. And so she would rearrange the whole thing into these different formations. And I'm just like, why are you doing this? You're never satisfied, right? And here I am, an astrologer, and my Venus was opposing her Venus. But really, in truth, as a mom, I didn't want her to hurt herself, hurt her back, pull her back out, strain her neck. I didn't want her to pull a muscle. And I'm like, so then, you know what I did? I just bought her those little slide things, like lift the bed up, put it on the slide, and then you can scoot the thing around like it's on ice skates. And then I didn't care. But she would take down all her posters. She would literally redecorate, redesign Venus and Gemini. Chronic, constantly changing and moving out the colors, the furniture, the theme, right? Now we're doing Valentine's. Now we're doing spring. Now we're doing, I don't know what, like, she had a goth vibe for a while. Then she had like BTS for a while. Then she did all old movie stars for a while. I mean, the theme was constantly changing and it was driving her mama mad. I mean, I was insane. But I understand it. It's just, this was not practical. And quit putting nails in my walls, right? So then I also got her the gum stuff to stick on the back of the posters, right? So then it wouldn't damage the walls. But anyways, Geminis, do not freeze them in time. And people try to freeze Geminis in time. People try to keep their Gemini the same as it's ever been. And they've changed and they're different now and they want something new. People don't like change. Have you noticed that? People don't like change. Geminis do. And people are like, you never used to think that way. You never used to dress that way. Oh, da, 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 da. Yeah. So even if this is your kid or your parent or whatever, do not be like me and try to command, that your Gemini stay the exact same. I kind of wanted her just to tell me so we could do it together, but she didn't want my influence, right? She wanted it to be her own expression. And so Geminis need people in their life who celebrate their change, not resist it and not try to keep them static. And the relationship actually starts to feel like a prison when they feel forced to remain who they once were. And so give them permission to change, to celebrate their changes, and you celebrate their changes. Do not make them feel bad about this part of themselves. Do not be me. Hey, I have a Venus opposition, so I didn't do that part very well, but it also was really on my nerves, when I'm like, oh my God, she is changing the furniture again. So the third thing is Geminis really need to feel intellectually desired. God, I have so many stories about this. I mean, they kind of can be know-it-alls, to be honest with you. And many want to be physically desired. Gemini might want that too, but they will rarely admit how much they need to feel mentally fit, mentally supreme, mentally superior, mentally on top. Like they want to be seen as smart. Another story about my daughter's Venus and Gemini. She got a $40,000 scholarship to a particular school that I won't mention. Because I really love this school and I was so stinking proud of her. And she got this $40,000 scholarship. And I was like, oh my God, we have to go. You have to take it. And the school is great. And let's do it. And she goes, Mom, I hate to disappoint you. I'm not going to that school. And I was like, why not? Why not? And she's like, it's not smart enough. What? Yes, it is. No, it's really not. It's not smart enough, Mom. I'm not going to that school. That school's known as a party school. I'm like, well, it can be whatever you want it to be. It's a scholarship. Let's take it. I'm not doing it, Mom. And I'm like, okay, well, pray God you get in somewhere else. Like, pray. And by the way, that was an early, what do they call it? Like early offer. And I'm like, all these other schools, hope you can get in. And she did. She got into her dream school. So that is an example of Gemini really needs to feel like they are smart, and you see how smart they are. So if you have a Gemini kid, I would, of course, tell them that you're very smart, but I would also make them feel okay. It's okay if you get a B. It's okay if you didn't even pass. You can retake it. You can go to summer school. Like, there's still choices. You didn't mess up your whole life. So Gemini's really overattached to their intelligence, and they do want somebody who is absolutely, utterly fascinated by their thoughts. Yeah. They really need somebody. They need somebody. In order to make a Gemini stick, they really want somebody who is engaged with their observations and really interested in their ideas. They like people who are drawn to their perspective. And they really, really do not enjoy people who have no questions to ask, are not curious about their ideas. Nothing makes a Gemini feel more invisible than somebody who values their appearance and ignores their mind. Yeah. I mean, of course, they want you to value their appearance too, probably. But if you're going to ignore their mind, nope. So the best opening line to get your Gemini interested in speaking to you is to just do this one simple thing. It is so simple. Are you ready? Tell me what you're thinking. I want to know your thoughts. What's your opinion on? I'm not kidding. I think it's because for Gemini, their mind is their heart. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? That's the most important thing I've said so far. Their mind is their heart. And when you appreciate one, you reach the other. To all my Geminis, their favorite thing to do is talk to you. Yes. So you need to share and you need to be interesting. Do not be boring, especially if you're a parent to a Gemini child. Talk to them. Talk to them. And if you're a child to a Gemini parent, talk to your parents. They are an encyclopedia worth of information, and they probably are fascinating and interesting. And just ask them, what's the most fascinating thing you learned today, Mom? What's the most fascinating thing you talked about? What's the most fascinating thing you've thought about today? Ask questions like that. One of the things you need to do is watch what is going on in life and report back to them everything new and exciting. Have something new and exciting. Please, please, dear God, if you're involved with a Gemini, have something new and exciting to talk about. I don't care. It could be like the nutritional guide and the cat food. It does not matter. Make it exciting. And also, if you don't have anything exciting about your life, talk about exciting events that are going on that you might want to try. Like, hey, do you know what? I met Bob down the street, and he jumps out of airplanes. And you know what he told me? He told me that you can go down here and you can jump out of an airplane for $9. I was really thinking of doing that for my 60th birthday. What do you think? Would you be able to come down and film me? Would you ever want to jump out of a plane? Right? So it doesn't even have to be relevant. It just has to be interesting. By the way, talking about knowledge and interesting things, I do want to ask you, are you taking class at my Athena Academy of Astrology? It's so exciting. Oh my God, it's so exciting. It is like I'm teaching the methods class right now, the methods course, and I'm probably going to be in the third class by the time you are watching this. But I am telling you, join us. It is so deep. I'm going through all 12 houses in this methods course, and it's going to go into July. And And we are going so deep into the meaning of the houses through all 12 signs and all of the planets through each of the 12 houses. And it is really deep. We're going way, way, way past the stereotypes. And the thing about the houses is you cannot learn astrology without having a depth of knowledge about the houses. And if you only know 5 things about each house, oh my God, come take my methods 101 course, I should say. You can buy it in the shop. It is so totally affordable. You can watch the replay link on your own time. You can come to class. The community is absolutely brilliant. They are brilliant learners. Some of them are brand new though. So if you're a newbie, you'll fit right in. But they're smart people that want to expand their minds with astrology. You can go check it all out at shopsoulnavigation.com, and you can see all of my master classes, all of my workshops there. And you can also see my entire Athena Academy of Astrology courses there. And if you want to start at hello, you could just take the foundations course, or you could purchase the entire year. So there's a lot to go look at. Go check it out and see where you want to start the cold readings mastery. If you have a little bit of astrology under your belt and you want to learn how to read charts and go from good, being fairly good, to becoming an extraordinary reader of charts, that course is for you. My cold reading mastery, I just did that. It's only 3 classes. And you guys, it's so affordable. So if you're serious about astrology and learning about astrology, come learn with me at the Athena Academy of Astrology. It's really, really exciting. It's super deep work, and it will just blow the barn doors off your heart and totally, totally expand your mind. Okay, let's talk about number 4. Gemini needs people in their life that give them permission to live inside of, are you ready? Are you ready? The contradiction. Yes. So what do I mean by that? Well, Gemini sees multiple truths at once, and this creates complexity, and it creates the very contradiction that their life probably is. And they may hold opposing viewpoints simultaneously. Now, this is what usually drives people into like sheer utter madness, like just poke my eye out with a stick. Because you're telling me you like this, let's just say you're telling me you like this guy, and you're also telling me that you don't want to go on a date with this guy. Which one is it? You're telling me that you want to go to college, but you're also telling me that you don't want to go to college. Which one is it? You're telling me that you want to move to Seattle and live here, but yet you just, you just bought a home in New York City. What what are you doing? Right? And so they understand and they live inside of, not necessarily happily and not necessarily comfortably, in both sides of the argument, in both sides of the situation. And they will most likely change their mind after receiving new information. And they may or may not tell you that they've even changed their mind. Yeah, they might keep that to themselves. Oh, well, thanks for letting me know that you didn't want to do that. And I thought this whole time you did. Right. And it doesn't make them fake. And this is where people think that they're flaky or fake or whatever. It makes them flexible. They're trying to adapt to their world, and they are multisensory, they're multitaskers, and they can do 2 contradictory things at the same time. Like they can be an extrovert and an introvert all at the same time. A lot of Geminis, it's very difficult to know if they truly are an extrovert, because they can be one, but it might not mean that they actually are one. They can just do extroversion. Do you know what I mean? And they do not want to have to defend every change of perspective. They need people in their lives where they don't have to defend their changes. And they start to feel shame and guilt for their changes. Like, yeah, I quit the soccer team. I know. It was bad, right? It was really, really bad. No, you didn't like it. Do something you like. Life is too short. I have this friend of mine, and she's in a book club, and we love reading books. And we oftentimes are not reading the same book at the same time, but we both are big readers. And she said, "Okay, what book are you reading now?" I said, "I'm still on Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm still on this book called Starvation Heights, and I really do recommend you read it. And it's about Seattle. It's about a Seattle serial killer in 1911 who starved her patients to death as a holistic fasting doctor. And right where we have our Seattle workshop at Pike Place Market, it's next door to this old Irish bar called Kells. Do you guys know it? And this is in Post Alley, and we're in the place next door to Kells, but Kells was the first mortuary and crematorium in Seattle, and they embalmed the bodies. But through this story, I've learned that it was also a place where they did dismemberment, and it's very haunted. They held funerals there. I had heard that it's like haunted, and so because we hold the workshop next door, I was really curious about it. Anyways, the place that we hold our workshop is so totally cool, and it's hidden and it's very secretive and hard to find, and it's upstairs on the roof. Like you will not be able to find it. You'd walk right by it. Anyways, so I told my friend Amanda, she goes, "What book?" And I said, "Well, I'm still in Starvation Heights and I can't quit it because I do enjoy it. But now the serial killer lady is in the courtroom, and so it's a little bit less riveting and less exciting. Like all the crimes have been committed, and so now it's her being held accountable, and I can't let go of it. But I also don't really want to read it. I don't know. I'm stuck." And she goes, "Oh, just give it up." And I'm like, "What? No, I would be filled with shame and guilt and like I would feel terrible." And she goes, "Why? It's a book. You know what? You don't need to have anything to feel guilty about. Why would you ever feel guilty?" And I go, "I don't even know why I feel guilty. I just feel guilty that I'm not finishing this book and this story. I feel like I owe it to the character or something, or the author or myself. Like I owe it to myself to finish it." And she is literally like, "Meredith, put it down. You do not need to feel guilty. Do not feel guilty at all." And I go, "Don't you ever feel guilty not finishing a book?" She goes, "Absolutely not." By the way, she's a Sagittarius rising Libra sun. She goes, "It's their fault if I didn't finish the book. They should have written it better." I thought that is so Sag rising. That is so Sagittarius rising. Oh my God, isn't it? I don't have any Gemini in my chart, but I have a really big third house. I love how she gave me permission. It felt so liberating. It felt so Gemini in a way. And it's like you want to be around people. Geminis want to be around people that say you don't have to be the same person every day. You don't have to stick to a ritual. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to fit into a neat little box. And this kind of acceptance, if you will, creates literally profound intimacy for Geminis. Profound intimacy. Like, I'm not trying to trap you. I'm not trying to clip your wings, and I'm not trying to box you in. Okay, number 5, Gemini. And this one's going to be hard for a lot of people to accommodate. Gemini needs playfulness more than stability. Yeah. And this one really shocks people. Now, I'm not saying that Geminis don't need stability. And also, if you're a Gemini sun sign, go look and see if you have Mercury, Venus, or Mars in Cancer. And if you've got planets in Cancer, then this won't be nearly as true. But if you're just the straight up Gemini energy, just the Gemini energy, and remember, we don't do strict sun sign astrology here. We blend the whole entire chart. And so if you've got Gemini in the 8th house, you might crave more stability than if you have Gemini in the 11th house. Okay. So you have to know that it matters where you have your Gemini, but just Gemini energy all alone, all by itself, they kind of need a fun playfulness before they want to have security or loyalty from you. Like they've got to have fun with you. You've got to make them laugh. You've got to tickle their funny bone. You've got to make them giggle, make their minds see the wit inside of the situation. And I know everyone talks about needing security and commitment and all that. And I need money to buy a house, et cetera, et cetera. But they want to build security or be in a secure relationship or connection with someone who is fun to be with. Geminis, will you please comment? So comment what house you have Gemini in and what planets, if any. So laughter is the bonding agent for Gemini. I'm giving you guys all the golden nuggets in this video. And I hope if you have strong Gemini placements, planets in Gemini or a lot of planets in the third house, or if you're just experiencing the Gemini pieces of you for the first time, I hope you will go watch my entire Gemini playlist. My entire Gemini playlist. And if you're kind of new, you should start with my starter package. You'll get your gorgeous natal chart. It's so easy to read. It is absolutely stunning. It is all color coded. The wheel is all color coded. I have tables and boxes. So if you can't read the wheel, you can read all the boxes. You can get it at shopsoulnavigation.com. And then it comes with a deep dive report. And so it will talk to you about all of your placements. It is so good. So that's the starter package, shopsoulnavigation.com. Get it there and start the discovery of you. Back to a sense of humor. Laughter is bonding for Gemini. Fun is bonding for Gemini. Curiosity and using your imagination is fun for Gemini. Shared experiences are bonding. Inside jokes are bonding. And a relationship can be extraordinarily stable, but simultaneously feel emotionally dead. And if the joy has disappeared, the relationship feels dead. So they need these moments that feel light. Not everything can be a lesson. Not everything can be heavy. They need spontaneity. They need opportunities to laugh until they cry. And so if you're a parent, teach with a little bit of humor. Playfulness, let me just give you the truth here. Let me give you the truth. Playfulness, humor, laughter, and joy is oftentimes how Gemini reconnects with their heart, Yeah. So if you have a lot of third house planets, you need fun. You need to laugh. Are you a Gemini? Do you have Gemini planets? And do you laugh? Do you love laughter? What is your relationship to laughing? Please tell me if you are a Gemini sun sign that you are also laughing. Please, are you laughing? Okay, number 6. Geminis need a world filled with friends or people that see their anxiety and help them calm down. They usually feel that they have to hide their anxiety. Geminis are highly anxious people. Why? Well, they're ruled by Mercury. So is Virgo and the nervous system. Mercury rules the nervous system. They usually have to hide their anxiety. They feel like they have to hide their anxiety. Remember, these are the things that they're not going to say out loud that they need. No. They're going to pretend that they don't need any of this. I don't know why. Geminis, why are you doing that? Anyways, they usually feel like they have to hide their anxiety and not show it and process it alone. And they get really scared showing their weaknesses because they believe it's a weakness of their mind, especially their mental anguish. And they really, 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 really do not want people to see it. And so if you are a safe place, a safe person for them, they will be so filled with gratitude for you. My dad was a Gemini, as you guys know. He was also, for a while in his life, before he worked for the United Nations, he was an air traffic controller. Yeah. Did you hear that? Air traffic controller, Sky Harbor, LAX. And then he moved to Oklahoma City and he got out of the actual act of being an air traffic controller and he taught at the school, the air traffic controller school. Anyways, it wasn't until about 10 years after he died that I found medical papers in a file folder. And he had, right after his LAX, after he left LAX as an air traffic controller, he had a couple near misses. And they weren't necessarily his fault, but the pressure gave him a mental breakdown. For a while, it created very severe anxiety, which then gave him ulcers. And he had to have even a part of his intestine removed because it had so ulcerated so badly. And guess what? It makes me really, really sad to say it out loud. I never knew that. I never knew that. I was a little girl. I was 10 years old, but he never shared that with me before he passed away. And I only found that out through finding that god awful psych evaluation from his doctor, who said he really should not be in this job anymore. And that's when they moved him to a teaching position, which ultimately turned out to be a fantastic thing, because then he eventually would find the United Nations, and that would be his greatest joy, rebuilding airports in third world countries. And he didn't build them, but he was the project manager. Anyways, I just share that with you because the anxiety is really, really real. And can you imagine having a mental break over that? Is that like one of the most stressful jobs in the world? I think it is. And Sky Harbor, by the way, is in Phoenix, LAX, Los Angeles, like busy, busy airports. Oh my God, especially LA. And just hid that. So I want to tell you guys, I tell you this information from the heart and my own experiences, but I can't begin to tell you how many times I've seen Gemini, um, hide high doses and high level of anxiety. So do you have a safe person where you can share this anxiety or this anxiousness with? So Geminis oftentimes appear cheerful, capable, adaptable, social. But because Geminis, I don't know why, but there's a gravitational pull to jobs, careers, knowledge, situations that carry a significant mental pressure. My sister, who is also a Gemini, my younger sister, she works with massive mental pressure, putting in catheters for people who have had catheters, like heart catheters for open heart surgeries. It's so much mental pressure. The Gemini's mind rarely stops, and they are processing everything, and they're analyzing chronically and constantly, and they're considering every possible outcome. Even before they can speak it, they're processing every single outcome. And they secretly need someone who notices when their smile is covering exhaustion or anxiety. So, are you a safe person for your Gemini? They need someone who notices that their nervous system is overloaded. And I didn't know that with my dad. I knew a little bit, but I never really knew like why. But I could sense, but I didn't ask. He didn't give me the invitation to ask. And Geminis won't invite you to ask. So you have to be kind of fearless and bold to even be their safe place. Because in order to be their safe place, you kind of have to take off that highly competent mask. Are you guys with me? Do you guys resonate with this? Tell me what you think. Leave me a comment. Would you please like and subscribe? It's totally free. Please hit that like button and please share this with somebody who you feel might need to hear it. They want people in their life that are saying, you don't have to entertain me and you don't have to perform and you can rest. You don't have to think about these things. The greatest gift you can give a Gemini is permission to stop thinking for a little while. Like, I've got this. I'll do your grocery shopping. I'll make your grocery list. You know, I don't know if they'll give the reins over to you, but my gosh, what a treat you would be if they were. Number 7, Gemini needs depth more than grand gestures and things. They really don't need things. I mean, flowers are nice, gifts are nice, vacations are nice, but Geminis would choose a 3-hour conversation over all of it. They would. They crave connection through understanding. They want to talk about life and human nature and psychology and dreams and possibility. That's the gift. What to give them? A conversation with you, a night out and a conversation. maybe a movie and a discussion afterwards, but they want to dream up possibilities with you. They want to imagine the future with you. They want to talk about the universe. They want to talk about people, places, and things. And a partner that can meet them there in the depth of conversation, in the depth of thoughts, creates a bond that lasts forever. Now, I'm going to say this in a little bit of a different way. Gemini needs a witness and a celebration to their many selves. So many people see one version of themselves, like there's one version of me, and what you see is what I get. And Gemini often experiences a dozen versions of themselves. Their professional self, they play all the archetypes. Their playful self, their intellectual self, their spiritual self, their adventurous self, their childlike self, their wise self, the teacher in them. And Geminis spend their lives feeling really misunderstood because other people usually only connect with, their professional self. And what they really want is someone who can love all of their many, many archetypes, all of their selves, and not somebody who says, well, which version is the real you? Which one is the real you? Instead, I accept all of you people living in there. Yeah. Okay. The next need, Gemini needs freedom from others without suspicion, and they need trust. And because they are so independent, people sometimes think that they're the big cheaters, and oftentimes they are. But I mean, Gemini is not the most loyal sign. However, they really value people that trust them. They need room to breathe. They want to explore ideas. They want to meet new people. They want to fall in love with life. They want to try new experiences, learn new things. They want to maintain parts of themselves that exist outside of their relationships with you and you and you. And so there's an autonomy inside Gemini. And what oftentimes hurts them is when they're being treated as though their independence is evidence of disloyalty. Are you getting it? Like, just because they're independent doesn't mean that they're disloyal. And the more that a partner becomes possessive and controlling and jealous and interrogating and suspicious, the more the Gemini can feel just emotionally trapped and stifled. And they don't always confront things directly, but internally, you will see your Gemini will start to pull away. And so Geminis really like their friends and their partners and the people that they're involved with to say, go enjoy your life, do what you want to do. I totally trust you. That is like true love for a Gemini. They don't want their parent or their partner or their friends to panic when they are taking space. And they don't have the ability to give constant reassurance to their partners. They need confident, strong, autonomous, independent people and friends in their life. They cannot handle the emotional vampires that just suck your energy dry. Oh my God, are you a Gemini? And do you have emotional vampires in your life? And did you get rid of emotional vampires? So they need people in their life that understand that their freedom and their commitments are not actually opposites. The more a Gemini feels that you trust them, the more loyal to you they become. And when they don't feel caged, they want to return. They want to come home. When they feel accepted rather than monitored, then they naturally want to share their adventures and their discoveries and their thoughts and their experiences with you. They really crave a relationship that gives them a reason to want to come home, usually through acceptance. I think Gemini and Aquarius are the most accepting signs out of the entire zodiac. I want to tell you one other thing. I want to tell you this other really, really cool thing. At my Athena Academy of Astrology, it is a certification program. And after you take the level 1 with me, you get a level 1 certification. And if you're studying with me, one of the really cool things that I am doing is I have a guest lecture series. So I have invited 5 people to become a guest lecturer. 4 of them are my students from my workshops, and they have just had so much talent. And one of them is an astrologer in her own right. But I want you to come and support them, and they're teaching, and it's a way where they can make a little bit of money and they can practice their craft teaching, and come and support them and watch their lecture and learn something new from a new soul navigation guest lecturer. And also, if you study with me for a year, you may get to also have the opportunity to become a guest lecturer at the Athena Academy of Astrology after you get your level 1, level 2, or level 3 certification with me. So if you're already a professional astrologer or you're just becoming one, let this community wrap our arms around you and support you in your journey. And you can, after you get your certification with me, apply to become a guest lecturer at the Athena Academy of Astrology. It's kind of a cool way, a path that I created for my students to put themselves out there. And so go check out my guest lecture series. They're teaching on an array of different subjects and topics, and it's only $19 to join. So it's a great way to support people who are really putting themselves out there to become professional astrologers. And I hope you will support them in their journey. It's really sweet. Okay, the next one, which I believe is the 9th. Gemini needs emotional safety to slow down. So most people think that Gemini is in perpetual motion and always moving about because they enjoy it. And sometimes they're moving. Here's a big myth buster truth bomb for you. Oftentimes Gemini is constantly moving because they are afraid to stop. They're afraid of the feelings that overcome them and overwhelm them when they stop. So movement is a distraction, and conversation can also be a distraction from their feelings. Activity is a distraction. Busyness is a distraction. And underneath all of that motion are feelings that they haven't even processed. And so Gemini actually needs relationships, whether it's a friend, a coworker, a companion, a parent, a child. They need a relationship that is safe enough to be still. God, I know this one so well. Just trust me with this one. It is really painful for Gemini to be still. And they really need a place, a space, a person where they can put down the performance, put down the stimulation, quit the activity, put down the distractions, and just simply be. This is where some of their deepest healing happens. Okay, the very last thing that Gemini needs is expansion. Now, we kind of have already talked about this, but I want to develop this just a tiny bit further. They don't necessarily need financial growth, although I think a lot of Geminis do seek that. And it's not necessarily expansion in like their status, but they need to chronically and constantly be learning. They are the knowledge junkies. They are the knowledge whores. They've got to be constantly learning, exploring, discovering. They need new perspectives, new experiences, and new understandings. Their soul will starve without that. They need another person that will also be wanting to expand as well. If they're the only ones expanding and you're not, they are going to really tire of that. The sentence that Gemini wants to say with their energy or their soul is, wait, there's more. Wait, there's more. Wait, there's more. They're on that learning axis with Sagittarius. And so Sag is very similar to this. If you love a Gemini, understand this. Beneath all of their words, all of their communication is a person that is desperately searching for the meaning of it all. And beneath their curiosity is someone who is seeking connection. And beneath all their movement is someone searching for a place where they can finally rest. Gemini does not need someone who can keep up with them. They need someone who can understand them. Someone who sees their brilliance, their complexity, their contradictions, their humanity. And when Gemini feels deeply, deeply understood, something really, really magical happens. It's like the butterfly in them stops flying for a moment and they choose to stay. They just land on you. Gemini is actually not searching for more people. They're searching for more connection. And when they find it, they are capable of extraordinary love. And I want to say to you, thank you for being here. Thank you for spending your time with me learning astrology here on my YouTube channel. I have more than 2,000 videos. I hope you'll go watch my entire Gemini playlist and start digging into deeper astrology where we go way, way beyond sun sign astrology. And come check out my Athena Academy of Astrology where wisdom meets destiny. Until next time, take good care of yourself wherever you are at out there in the world. From my home here in Seattle, I wish you the very, very best. Take good care. Bye for now.